Good morning. My name is Henrique Bassi. I'm CEO of Brazilian Endodontic Company here. We are going today to introduce you Rootflex from Morita. And the goal of this video is to make clear the difference between our system and the other systems, all the other mechanical systems in the market, no matter if they are rotary, no matter if they are reciprocating.
Hello, my name is Guilherme Bassi. I'm a full-time endodontic practice. I've been in endodontics for the past 12 years. I have a master's in endodontics. And here at Bassi Endo, I help with the development of the products, testing the products. And in the past years, I've used Rootflex on a daily basis, so I have a lot of experience with the instruments. So I think we can do a very good introduction of the files.
The idea on this video is to give you tips, explain about our heat treatment, the difference from our heat treatment to the others, the way we grind our files, the way we prepare the files, and what is the benefit of that. And finally, we will present clinical results, testimonies of people that have been using Rootflex files in the last years.
So one of the first things we have to talk about is the challenge that we face during the root canal treatment. And one of the most difficult challenges that we face is the variable anatomy that we have in the root canals. So thinking about those challenges, thinking about those difficulties, what we thought about when we were developing the Rootflex system was that we don't have to have a system that the root canal has to adapt to the system. We have the system to adapt to the root canal. So we have a wide range of tapers, of tips, of cross sections, all those thought so that we have a minimal invasive approach, and also we have the files to adapt to the root canal. And one of the things that made it possible was the heat treatment process that we have. Different to other systems, our heat treatment make the files very, very, very flexible. So since we have flexible files, it's easier to make a system to adapt to those curvatures, to those variable anatomies, to all the variables that we face during the treatment.
Another very important challenge that we have is that the system nowadays, people are facing systems using less and less number of files during the procedures. So the new files in the market, they must be like a super files. So those files must be very efficient, and the same way they must be very safe and flexible. So the idea with Rootflex is to cover all the challenges. And I think we have a good balance. I think we have a good system, a very good system that you can be very useful for your daily practice. You can save a lot of money using the files because the files are very resistant. You don't need to use too many files to do the entire procedure. The Rootflex systems comes in a blisters with 6 files, individual files, and it comes in 21, 25, and 31 millimeters. So the files itself, it seems like all the other files in the market. So we have a handle, we have the knife type part, the grinding part, and also you have the identification colors bands that indicate the tip and the tapers of the files. The first band here is indicating the tip. The blue color here indicate the taper of the files. So in this specific model, this file is a 25, a red one, and the 05 taper. So this file is a 2505 taper. So this is how the files comes, and all the others will follow the same. For a 15 tip, the color will be white. For the 20, it will be yellow, and so on.
Coming back to the challenge that we face during the procedures, during the root canal treatments, what we thought about is to have a whole bunch of different tapers, like we said before. So whenever we have like a very calcified canal, a very narrow canal, a very tight canal, you can do the whole shaping of the file with the 03 taper file. So it's a lot easier for a 03 taper file to go all the way to the apex than a 05 or 06 taper. So thinking on those situations, if you have a wide canal, you can use a 05 taper. If you have a very narrow and very tight canal, you can also use a 03 taper prior to that 05 taper. If you want to stay in the 03 taper, you can shape all the way only with the 03 taper. When we were thinking about the files, developing the files, deciding taper, deciding tips, deciding everything about it, one of the main things that we thought was there was no single file rotary shaping system. We only had reciprocating file systems with only one file. So the main goal of the system was not only be minimally invasive approach, which is basically what everybody's talking about, what everybody wants to do, remove less denting, preserve the structure, and on the other hand, we couldn't do that with a lot of files. So one of the other things that we thought about was we had to have a file, a single rotary file. So after patency, which means since you also have your patency, you can shape the root canal with either a 2503, a 3003, a 2505, or a 3005. It's up to the dentist, and if you want to use only one system, one file, you can go all the way from the coronal portion to the apex.
In order to be a single file rotor system, shaping system, the file should have a lot of considerations about it. The file should be very efficient. The file should be very flexible. So, in order to be efficient, we have to make the best choice for the design, and this design should be very efficient. When we talk about efficiency that we discussed later, we are talking about not only cutting the denting or the tissue inside the root canal, but also to remove from inside to outside. Only this way we could use only one file to prepare the entire root canal. Another issue here was the safety. We all know that when we increase too much the efficiency of the files become very aggressive to cut and cuts a lot. We reduce in some ways the safety. In order to have a very safe file, we study a lot about the heat treatment. The Rootflex rotor system uses a controlled memory nighttime. So in order of that, we have a huge cyclic fatigue. And once we have a huge cyclic fatigue, we are able to increase the speed of the file. When we increase the speed of the file, we reduce the time of the efficiency of the file. And consequently, we are able to stay less and less time inside the root canal. So we prepare the root canal very fast.
So because of that increased speed, what we don't need to use is very, very high numbers of torque. So the faster you go, the more you cut, the less torque you need, the more efficient the file is. Of course, whenever you have a very, very tight curve, very angled curve root canals, it's also very clever to reduce a little bit the speed. But on regular canals, on regular root canals, we use roughly 900, 950 RPMs. But once we have very, very tight and very, very difficult root canals with sharp curvatures, we can reduce the speed to 500, 600, 550.
Once we start to use higher RPM, we are going to notice that you are going to remove a lot of denting from inside the root canal. So the Rootflex files, they have big spaces between the flutes to allow this debris coming out. So that's why we don't have too many impactations, debris impactations over the walls, creating a very clean walls at the end of the procedure, making it easier the irrigation solution to make the final cleaning. Regarding the heat treatment process that we do in home, and our files also have their own secrets. But what makes us different, we have one of the highest temperature transformation from martensite to austenite. What does it mean? When we are using our files inside the root canal, the body temperature is around 37 degrees Celsius. When we start to use the files start to cut in the denting, there are heat generation, and the temperature of the files start to go up. And once this temperature go up, it starts to change from martensite phase to austenite phase. When you move from martensite to austenite, their files start to become stiffer and stiffer. So that the ideal is to have the temperature transformation far from the body temperature. Doing this, you keep your file and very flexible during the whole procedure. The Rootflex files temperature transformation is around 51 degrees centigrade. And comparing to the other files in the market, most of them are below than 40 degrees. It means that Rootflex are able to stay inside the root canal, cutting, and keep the original pathway, the original anatomy, without any internal transportation. No chance for ledging and transportation. And also, when we have a high cyclics of fatigue, is the only reason that we are able to increase the speed of our files. It's not regular in the market. You see companies indicating for you to use your files 600, 700, 950. Most of the companies indicate around between 350 to 500. But because our cyclic fatigue is huge, we can, even if we increase the speed, we are still under the safety margin.